So I'm getting quite a lot of questions being asked around my journey from exiting corporate world to running my own business, and obviously it's time of the year, I guess, at the moment that people are thinking about it. And instantly, somebody in the gym also just said that he's just jacking in his IT job and setting up his own business. So I thought it'd be quite good to just share my thoughts and my journey itself for either new people who are on my channel, but also existing people who are already thinking that at some point, just like me, you get to a point where enough, you need to go and do your own thing. You've had enough of either shitty bosses, poor company management, or you're being passed over for promotions, or you're not recognized. We've all been through all of these things. And whilst most of my bosses have been really great, actually, in fact, a lot of them are still friends of mine, and we get on really well. If anything, sometimes I've even helped some of them recently in their own life. So if you're a boss and you're a shitty one, actually remember that life is it's a long game. So try and be nice, try and be good to your team, and because what goes around comes around. So anyway, so that's that. So my journey was basically typical stuff: university, then start work, and I worked in pharmaceuticals sales, pharmaceutical and medical device sales for 20 odd years. And I really loved it while I was doing it, up until I started to not like it, because there was a change in personnel. And I think it was coupled with the fact that I just had enough of taking kind of direction from somebody who I thought actually didn't really even have the relevancy. I was way overqualified, more qualified than her from an academic perspective, but yet anyway, that was one of the, it was almost the straw that broke the camel's back, rather than the actual reason that I exited kind of corporate life. But having said that, what did I do? So over those 20 years of working, I'd kind of then set about buying and investing, saving first. So every bit of money that I used to have, I was saving quite a bit of it, and the idea being that saving, then I was investing in properties. And I have to say, 23 years ago, I did not think that logically as to what the progression of these businesses or portfolio would do. But I knew that actually, if I had bought something, invested it in a house, and then that house was producing a couple of £100 of passive income, so that the mortgage versus the rent, I thought that was actually a good thing. And really, at that time, I was thinking, well, when I get older, I'd probably sell all of them, or sell half of them, pay the other half, and that will be a kind of pension fund. So the key here was already, even at 21, I was thinking about longer term plan, not really into detail, but having the idea that you save, you put some money in investments, and hopefully it grows. And over the last few months, I've really been investing in education around stocks and shares and other types of investment, because converse to who the people who are coached a lot, they all have had businesses or got money, but now wanted to go to property. I started the other way around. I've invested in property, and now I'm looking at diversifying some of my investment, but also learning how good investors work. And I've been reading the works of Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and people like that. So just really understanding how people think about investment. The biggest thing that I did myself, and I'm prescribing to people here, and also I see this across other big investors like Dalio and Buffett, they talk about delayed gratification, and they talk about long-term investment. So I think those are the two things that they really go on about, especially the second one, which is that, leaving time to do the work, rather than you day trading in their world, or for us is buying and flipping houses. So one of the things that I then did over this period of 20 years was to buy and hold. Buy, rent and hold, buy, rent and hold. And over the years, I just got better and better at it. I enjoyed it. Most importantly, to be fair, I loved it. I loved having a house, doing something to it, adding value to it. At that time, in our world, or in our vocabularies, adding value to it. But renting it, and then I didn't really particularly like the tenant management part of it, because sometimes they weren't very nice people over time that you'd face. But by and large, most people that I'd kind of rented and managed, and don't forget, I was managing all of this as well as having a full-time job, kids, two masters. So the other thing to remember is it's bloody hard work. It's not meant to be that easy. So if you're thinking, oh God, it's really hard work here, there's a lot of work happening. Yes, it is going to be hard. It is not going to be that easy, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody will be, well, we wouldn't be talking about this because everybody would have a great life. But then, ultimately we live in a world where, the people who push the boundaries, the people who take the risk, the people who then or delay gratification, invest money today to reap reward tomorrow. Those are the people that rise up or rises to the top, because the people who I recall when I was at university and my undergrad, we were taking our student loans, and I was putting it towards a first house. A lot of my friends were buying to go to the student union or to go on holiday or to buy a car. So instant gratification versus actually I was investing for the future. And that house, incidentally, we're renovating it after 23 years. After the last 10 years I did it. So 10 years ago I did it, but it's been 23 years that I've owned it, and that's gone up 10x, so 50k to 500k, which is a crazy amount of money. So the journey has been long, has been hard, has been enjoyable, but also as I got better at it, in 2012 I did an MBA program, and really that exploded my brain. I was like, oh my God, I can really do even more of this. So and then I took the knowledge and the insights and how to run businesses to then apply it to my own business, and I grew the business exponentially from 2010, 12 to now. And I basically, how did that happen? I learned a lot more around property investment, the demographics, the trend, the unsaid things that is a known secret but nobody talks about it. Things like capital appreciation, things like housing growth, things like demographic figures, things like actually planning rules. The archaic planning rules we have in this country is designed to limit the supply. I did a master's in economics at the LSE in 2016, and that really again taught me the economic fundamentals of investment, but also how the world works, how money works. And thus this is going to be the feature around my third book when I do get to write and put it all together. So my advice to people who are thinking about jacking in corporate and getting into your own, doing your own thing, I would say the following thing, and that's because I'm a calculated risk taker. Don't jump in and jack in your job today unless you've got something like a parachute to help you down first. 2, have a strategy as to what you want to do when you are going to jack in your job and actually take on something else. Try and parallel them. So if your time or the business allows, like I did, I bought houses alongside what I was doing at work. And I worked double hard or triple hard because I was also running another business at that time as well. So I was doing 3 different businesses at a time. I also qualified as a plumber. I undertook, I never finished it, a course on mortgages 20 years ago. And I was buying and selling secondhand cars. I created a company that rented the first lot of cars to Uber and their drivers when they first came into this country in London. So there was a lot of things going on. So the more effort you put in, the higher the chances of reward that you'll get. And the last thing, I read a book recently called The Joys of Compounding and The Psychology of Money this week. And actually one of the things that he talks about, the psychology of money, and the insight he shared was actually most companies, i.e. people, do well on these tail events. So you could be doing 10 different things, 10 different ideas, and then out of 10, one of them will do well. So he talked about Amazon doing loads of different ideas that never worked that well, Fire phones and whatever ideas that they came up with. But the ones that are paying the company the most now is the AWS, the web hosting services that powers pretty much everything, including Formula One, as well as the Prime service. So out of all the businesses that Amazon created, those 2 are the one that are actually producing all of the money for the company. Same thing with Disney. He talked about that actually they did 300 cartoon for so long, and then one time they created Snow White after about 20 years, and that one production cartoon paid for all the debt that they'd amassed. So how does that relate to us and our lives? Actually, keep trying, keep going, keep thinking, keep looking at problems and solutions that you can bring to the market, but don't give up. the chances are, you know, you're going to be successful the more you try. But if you give up, actually you fail, and you're not going to actually ever even get close to being successful. So to summarize, I'd say have a plan, have an idea.